This is my second time to give this keynote presentation to this group, and I did it last January too, and I got really motivated about doing it after reading a book that one of my mentors wrote, and it just really got me thinking about you guys and what you guys are here to accomplish and how I can help you best accomplish that as a seasoned real estate investor and as someone who kind of tries to keep up a little bit about what else is going on, not just in real estate, but in ways to kind of just keep you motivated and keep you moving forward. Real estate can be a very fun business. Real estate can be a very profitable business, but real estate can also be a very frustrating business. And real estate is one of those businesses that people fall out very easily, and it has an incredibly high fallout rate because people just never are able to get started. In some cases, and in other cases, it's because their first deal is not always a great deal. And sometimes people lose money on their first deal, which can be a very humbling experience. And one of the reasons why I put this presentation together is really just to give you guys as good of a first start to the new year as I possibly can. I will definitely tie it into real estate investing and how that can work for you as well. But this is probably a little bit more motivational type of a presentation than I ever usually do. Most of the time when I'm up here, I'm talking about strategies, I'm talking about deals, I'm talking about marketing. So this is a little bit different than what we normally do here tonight. So if you love it, I'm sorry. But if you hate it, come back next month and we're going to do a lot of the detailed stuff like the market update, all the number stuff that you have come to expect from me. So let's get started. So I call this the New Year Launch Kit because it's your way to kind of start 2015 in a really great way. One of the things that one of my workout instructors, of all things, said to me the other day was she was asking about New Year's resolutions, and at this point, today's January the 16th, yeah? 15th. So this was last Saturday, so it was like January the 12th. So I'm not standing up numbers, that does not work. But it was January the 12th, and she said, how many guys how many of you are off your New Year's resolutions? How many of you guys have, it just didn't work out? Raise your hand, be honest. Oh, all of you guys are still on your New Year's resolution. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, one of the things that she said that resonated for me personally was just this first bullet point right here. When you talk about the things that you're here to do, when you talk about what you're going to do in 2015, what if when you talked about it you said, I can, I should, I must? Everybody say that. I can, I should, I must. I can, I should, I must. I must. I must? I must. Is that a little different than, yeah, this year I'd like to flip a couple houses? Yeah? Yeah, it really is. I can, I should, I must. And she used a yoga. I don't really do yoga, but I try to. But she called it an intention. And she said when you're talking about these things and you're talking about your goals, you're talking about your intentions. And if you put that before everything that you do you think that's a little bit more powerful? Yes. Thank you. So it's time to get pumped up about the new year and really create a plan that's aimed at reaching your goals. And guys, having a goal of, I want to flip a couple of houses this year, that's not a goal. That is insufficient. That's probably not going to get you to where you want to go. You've got to really flesh it out, and you've got to really dig in order to get some of these things that you say that you want. Some of you guys may say, I want to do a couple of deals, and some of you guys may say, well, I want to do something to quit my job. How many people are here because they want to do something to quit their job? Yeah, like, wow, that's more than I even really expected. So do you think you're going to be able to achieve that by just saying, I just want to try this out and flip a couple houses and see how that goes? The answer's no. The answer's no. So I'm going to kind of walk through some different things to be able to get there so that you can, so that 40% of you can go and quit your jobs. Obviously, it's not going to be tomorrow, but we're going to kind of talk about that process. So I'm going to go through 21 different steps for getting there, and these are the steps. Guys, you're not going to be able to keep up writing this down. It would take me, you can picture it, but I've got to be in every picture. You can take a picture of it, but I'm going to go through some of these things really quickly because there are so many different things, and we're going to kind of have a little bit of discussion about them as we go through as well. So these are the 21 different things that we're going to talk about as we go through this, and we will break them down in a much higher level of detail as we walk through them as well. But I'll give you a chance to use your phones to snap a couple pictures before we get officially started. Golly, why do I have to talk first at the beginning about failing? That's a terrible slide to start on, isn't it? Is that a terrible slide to start on? Get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. I think, yeah, it's real. Is it real? Are we going to make some mistakes? Are we going to make some mistakes? I hope not, but the truth is that there will probably be some mistakes, right? And a lot of people will give up. So you guys heard Phil talk. You guys heard Phil talk about marketing. You guys heard Phil talk about strategies. I can't tell you how many real estate investors have come to me and say, "Yeah, I tried that thing that Phil, told me, or that you told me, and it didn't work." Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. Well, tell me a little bit about what you did. So I'm going to dig in right now because I'm not going to let you get away with that, right? Because I know that it works. So I'm going to dig in and I'm going to say, well, tell me what you did. Well, yeah, I sent a letter out and I didn't get any responses. Oh, really? How many letters did you send out? Well, I sent out 200 letters. Oh, yeah, how many times? Well, it was just that one time. Is that enough? Is that enough? Is that enough? It is not enough. Guys, it is not enough. Is real estate a numbers game? Real estate is a numbers game. You might send out 1,000 letters. You might send out 2,000 letters. You might get 10 leads on the last set of letters that you send out. But if you give up after sending 200 letters, your resolve is not strong enough to be in this business. I'll just put it out there for you like that, right? But you have to continue. You have to keep going, because it's too easy to stop and just say, it didn't work. I'm not gonna do that, right? Is that easy to do? It is so easy to do. It is so easy to do. And if you fail, don't let it slow you down. You got to fail forward, and you've got to fail fast, and you've got to move on, and you've got to take lessons and takeaways from that. And this last thing, this is what really gets me. We've learned to take some personal responsibility for our actions, right? Yeah? Yes? But how many of us take personal responsibility for our inactions? Our inactions. Does that sound right? Take personal responsibility for your inactions? I can almost promise you that where you are versus where you want to be, that entire delta, do you think it's a result of action or inaction? I can promise you it's a result of inaction. So you've got to take some personal responsibility for that in order to start stepping it in the right direction. So we're done with failure, right? We're ready to talk about success? Yes? Awesome. All right, let's do it. Sorry, one more little thing about failure. This is just too cute. I've been using this picture for like 8 years now. This is a little birdie, and this little bird is adapt, mutate, migrate, or die. So in his adaptation phase, he's swimming underwater. Birds don't swim underwater. In his mutation phase, he's growing some fangs. Birds don't grow fangs. In his migrate phase, he's leaving, right? He's gone. But in his die phase, like he's gone. He's out of the business. Which two birds do you want to be? I don't want to be all of them. I want to be adapt, and I want to be mutate. Because I love Austin, Texas. So I've been in Austin since 1975, and I don't want to leave. Okay, I don't want to leave. So I'm going to adapt and I'm going to mutate so I can stay here. And I'm going to adapt and I'm going to mutate so I can stay a real estate investor when the market goes up and when the market goes down. Right? I don't want to go away. And I'll tell you, the thing that kind of hits home with me about this, and you'd ask, like, what strategies work right now, right? One of my friends and colleagues and longtime colleague, smart guy, Rice grad. Yeah, Rice University graduate, undergraduate. You too? Okay, yeah, well, rock on. Okay, so he's a Rice University graduate, smart guy, real estate investor. Market changed. Market change. He did not adapt or mutate. He migrated. He's in Colorado right now. He's doing business in Colorado. He's doing good business in Colorado, but that's not, like, you guys want to stay here, right? Yes, yeah? Most of you. Some of you are like, I just got here because of the traffic, and I want to, like, kill everybody, and then I'll want to stay here. But until that happens, I'm open to the migrating thing. But yeah, so smart guy, really smart guy, had a very solid business, and something changed, right? Something changed in his business, and he had to decide: migrate, mutate, adapt, or die. Migrate, adapt, mutate, migrate, or die. And he ended up migrating. And that was good for him to keep that current business model in motion, right? So you know, when you ask, well, what kind of strategies do I want to use right now? Well, and I said the answer is yes, because I want to use every strategy, right? Because I don't want to have to die, and I don't want to have to migrate. So as soon as you guys realize that every deal you do is going to depend on what situation the seller is in, and you've got to adapt to that situation, right? And you've got to adapt your business strategy to what's happening in the market. Is the market a cycle? What did I tell you the average price was here in Austin, Texas? 311. Who said 311? Thank you for listening. Close, you know, but I'll give you a chance to make it up, okay? So in 1970, what was the average price in Austin, Texas? 1970. 1970. It was roughly 60. 60, roughly 60, yeah. So 60, 311. Straight line. Straight line? 60, 311. No, what did it look like? Those are called market cycles. Real estate follows a market cycle. Typical market cycle is 4 years up, 2 years down, 4 years up, 2 years down, 4 years up, 2 years down, 4 years up, 2 years down. It goes down at twice the rate that it goes up, okay? This last market cycle we've been in was 3 years up, 1 year down, 4 years flat, right? And now we're in almost 4 years back up again. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? About to go through a down cycle, right? You're listening, you're paying attention. That's how the market goes, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Are we insulated here from market cycles in Austin, Texas? Somebody said yes, somebody said no. Are you insulated from market cycles? Who said yes? Why yes? Linda, why are you insulated? Say that again. Hold on. Stand up and say it.
I can do them when they're up, and I can do them when they're down. I know all the strategies, whether they're losing money or making money. I can make money on it.
Up, down, different strategies. Whether it's up or whether it's down, you're going to use different strategies. And some of the strategies when it's down, you're going to still use when it's up, and vice versa, right? But the point is, you have to learn how to use these different strategies. I told you guys at the end of the market update, as a real estate investor, you always have one or two problems. Always one or two problems. What are those problems? Pop quiz, buying or selling? What was the problem? Yes. See, you made it up. 304, 311. So now you're good. You're good. So as a real estate investor in this market, it's hard to buy, but it's easy to sell. Hard to buy, but easy to sell. You've got to have these different strategies in place for these different kinds of market cycles so that you're able to survive instead of migrate or die. So this is a quote from, so I talked about failure, now I get to talk about success, right? So now I'm really officially going to turn it over. I love this quote. That's why I'm bringing it here right now. Successful people have learned to establish a pattern of successful action. Succeeding in small things builds confidence and creates an expectation of success that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Establish a pattern of successful action. Establish a pattern of successful action. What might that pattern be? Setting goals. What might that pattern be? Daily activities. What might that pattern be? Going outside of your comfort zone and taking risk. What else? Writing offers. What else? What else? What else are we doing here, guys? Networking, building our knowledge. So Linda, I'm gonna pick on you because I know you. I know. So how many networking events, real estate networking events, do you go to a week? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said, how many do you host? Yeah, 1 to 4. So is that a pattern? Is that a pattern? Are you consistent about it? Does that help you in your business? About how many letters do you send out every week for your marketing? Between 100 and 1,000 or several thousand letters. And do you do that every week? Do you guys hear something? What are you guys hearing? Consistent activity. Are you hearing a pattern? Is that different than some of the things that we talked about initially? Yes, it is. Guys, this is a business. I hate to break it to you guys who thought like this is all fun and games. This is a real business, guys. And you have to be consistent about your business in order for your business to be successful. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so our steps. How many of you guys, raise your hand if you have not flipped your first house yet? Raise your hand if you have not flipped your first house yet. Okay. So keep your hands up. Now you guys are here, you're kind of like experimenting, exploring, right? Yeah, seeing what this is about. Yes? Yes? How many of you guys have decided like, hey, I want to be a real estate investor? Like, I'm sure. Leave your hands up if you're sure. Take your hands down leave your hands up if you're unsure about this. Like, no, I'm just, maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll take care of her by the end of the night. Okay, so first thing you need to do is you need to make the decision. So you're in your exploratory phase. Good. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are also in your exploratory phase. Just don't want to, oh no, that's too much work. Yeah. So I know a lot of you guys are in the exploratory phase, and you have to just make the decision. Is this something I want to do? Yes or no? Is this something you want to do? Yes. Yes or no? Okay, about 3 of you. Good. Let the record show that there are 100 people in the room. So first off, you need to figure out what you want to do. And it's important to establish something that you're good at. Are you good at this? Do you think you're going to be good at this? You think you're going to be good at this? Who's worried? A couple of you guys are worried. What worries you, Mike? Mark? You're worried you're going to be unsuccessful. Do you have a plan? Be honest. No plan. Is Mark going to be successful with no plan? I don't think so either. I don't think so either. So Mark, you need a plan, right? Unless you just kind of, this is something you just want to do a house or two a year. I mean, you don't necessarily need a plan for that. You just need to kind of hang out and buy a deal from somebody else who maybe has a plan. But if you've made the decision, like I want to be a real estate investor, is that a good first step? That's a first step in really anything that you do. Now, do you have to know everything to do this job? Yeah? Do you have to know everything? But who do you have to know? People who know everything, right? So that brings us around to this quote by Thomas Edison, right? Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. 99% perspiration. What defines perspiration in this business when you're getting started? What kind of action? What kind of activity? Getting leads, doing marketing. What else? Making offers, finding houses, education, right? Networking. But you don't have to know raising capital, good. But do you have to know it all? You don't. You don't. But do you have to take dramatic action all day and all night? All right, so you make the decision. Have you made the commitment? Exhibit A. Mark, I'm going to need you. And I'll promise I'll stop calling you Mike. Hold this. Exhibit A. Do you mind, Catherine? Can I give your Social Security and email, and your phone number? Yeah, I can give that. Okay, good. So this is Catherine's notebook. This is your real estate investing notebook, right? Today is her first day of notes. Yes, give her a round of applause. Number one, Catherine, my God, I thank you for coming with like a notebook and a writing utensil. Because there are some people, and I'm not going to mention any names, Jim, but there are some people who come to these meetings thinking, I don't know what you're thinking, but you don't bring, like, I bring my notebook with me everywhere I go, okay? But there are clearly some people here who think, I'm not going to learn anything here. There's ain't nothing to write down. I don't, you know, I'm just kind of here. You're here to network. You're experienced real estate investor. But and I know that, and that's why I get to pick on you, because we go back like 2 years now ish, more than that. I'm just yeah. So making the commitment. So she's still in her exploratory phase. You can wipe off where I held it. Yeah, that's okay. I saw you do that. She needs some germaphobe, like liquid gel to wipe off where I touched, I think, is what Catherine's trying to do right now. But there's a difference between making a decision in this business and making a commitment in this business. What's that decision? What's that difference? What's the difference? Taking action? What else? You can take action and still not be committed. An exit strategy? Okay, what else? Burning bridges? That's a commitment. Big time. 40% of the people here said they're here because they want to leave their job at some point, yeah? Leaving your job, that's a big commitment, is it not? What happens when you leave your job? What do you say? What did I just do? Right? What did you do? You made a commitment. You made a commitment to another life. Is that hard to do? It is. It is. So a commitment is very different from just making a decision. And it does take some saying goodbye to the past, and it does take you. You need to stop rehearsing the past, right? The things that went wrong. A lot of times we're held back by just thinking about how life was unfair to us or the things that have been wrong. Do motivated sellers care about how life was unfair to you? Yeah, they don't give a crap, right? Life is unfair to them right now, and they want you to figure it out and solve their problem. Yes? Change. A lot of people look at change as is scary. Some people look at change as a challenge. Some people look at change as an opportunity. Is change an opportunity for you? Is change a challenge for you? It might be both a challenge and an opportunity, but is change inevitable? Definitely, and without a doubt. And you have to look at this as an opportunity as you make this commitment to embrace and accept change. And then the last line item I have on here is burn the ships, right? That's definitely on there. Your commitment certainly increases if you say goodbye to the past and you make it that abrupt. That is for sure. Oh yeah, man. Second shift. So someone is here tonight that I worked with in my last corporate America job. And when I was working there, I was ready to transition into real estate, but I was scared, right? It was really, really, really nice getting that paycheck like automatically deposited into your account. Oh, and the healthcare part too was really awesome as well. And I don't want to give it up. So, but now I'm a full-time real estate investor. So what do you think I did? I think I just stopped working? Said I'm out? What did I do? I did what I call the second shift. The second shift. Oh man, I was scared. So I started to do stuff on the side. So after I would leave my job around 6-ish o'clock, then I would go and I would work my real estate business. And I'd also work my real estate business on the weekend. And then after a while, my full-time job started to cost me money. But I still didn't want to leave. I was still nervous, right? I'd made the decision, right? I made kind of a half-hearted commitment to. So I went to part-time, right? And that lasted a little while, and then I had to leave. It was time for me to leave. My heart and my head was not there anymore. But my first year in real estate, for at least probably the first 9 months of that, I worked another job. And that same year in real estate, I put 25,000 miles on my car that year. That's a lot of miles. That's a lot of gas. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of everything. But I started that second shift, right? Bill, you work about 60 hours a week, right? And you do real estate on the side. And man, those golden handcuffs are so they like shine them for you. Do they shine them for you like when you go in like to work every day? Like make sure they're real nice. They fit real tight too. Yeah, fit real tight. Yeah. So it's hard to let go of something that has become so normal for you. And for some of us too, it's you've got that like your other half. Sometimes your better half, sometimes your worse half. But sometimes that other half is saying, "Oh no, you're not quitting that job. You're not doing this real estate thing." Is that helpful? It may be grounding, right? It may be helpful. It may be grounding. It may be like, let's really think about this. Like it's security, right? It feels good. But in the meantime, if you've made this decision and you're not ready to quit your job, which I'm not recommending to any of you, quit your job, except for Bill. We know Bill is this job's really costing Bill money, but we don't want Bill to quit. We sincerely want Bill to get fired because he's going to have a nice little payout at the end. So that's what's keeping him there as well. But if you're not ready to quit, starting that second shift, I mean that's where you're going to make this happen, and starting that second shift will make it easier for it to go from, yeah, I'm kind of checking this thing out, to, yeah, I've made a decision about it, to, yeah, now I'm committed to it, right? Now I'm committed to it. Now in some cases I can see where my job is costing me money to stay there. Oh man, the last thing on this slide, the stop doing list. What are you doing right now that you should not be doing? What are you doing right now that you should not be doing? Somebody just share. It's like Oprah, except there's no presents under your chair. There's no like trip to the Bahamas, or I don't know what she gives away. But what are you guys doing now that you should not be doing? Bookkeeping. So that's a good one. So Jana, you were at my house with William, the architect, the other day when we were talking about this project we're gonna build. And William said, "Well, I'm kind of here to get my check," and he was asking me to pay him. And I said, "Well, that's great, William, but the person who cuts all my checks, she only comes in on Wednesday. Can we wait? Because I don't want to log into QuickBooks. I don't want to put the check into the printer and hope that I put it upside down and it goes through the thing and it prints on the right side. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." Okay, so I have said, so now I have to say to everyone who asks me for money, of which there are a lot of people, but for everyone who asks me for money, sorry, we only cut checks on Wednesdays, because that's the day that my bookkeeper comes in and works in my office, right? So now, it sucked at the beginning, like everyone was like, oh, shucks. I asked Shenoah on Wednesday at 6 p.m., I'm not getting that check. No, you're not. We're going to wait until the next Wednesday. And that was something that it was tough to initially do. I still sign all the checks. every single one. But I don't cut them, right? I'm not, figuring all that stuff out because it's something that now, how much do you pay a bookkeeper? Somebody said too much. Bryce, was that you? Oh, shoot, Bryce. Your brother's a bookkeeper. Okay. How much do you pay a bookkeeper? Don't everybody answer at once. Just somebody answer, though. What do you, 30, 40 bucks an hour. Okay. Do you know what you don't know. 30 or 40 bucks an hour. How much is that? What, is that too much? Bryce says it's too much. Is that too much? How much an hour do you make as a real estate investor? I'm sorry, someone said it. Someone said the exact amount. More than that. Someone said the exact amount. More than that. Okay? When I was the chief bookkeeper and the chief dishwasher and the person who was like cleaning out a house, right? How much was I making an hour? I was making minimum wage, right? Did I put that on my stop doing list? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I don't want to do any bookkeeping. No, thank you. I want someone else to go and run that report for me. What are some of the other things we're doing that need to go on our stop doing list? Of things that I don't do anymore. It's long. Cleaning, cooking, lawn, laundry, washing car, Facebook, email, Netflix marathons, working on things I'm not good at, grocery shopping, news, sports, bookkeeping, spending time with negative people, Target, Costco, hitting the snooze button, online shopping, procrastinating, chauffeuring kids, video games, property management, showing houses for hours and running comps for other investors. Is that good? Is that a good list? What's on y'all's list? Should be all that. Should be all of that. Because, should I get a slide? Well, okay, I'll say it instead. Well, I want you guys are going to have your own things, right? You guys are going to have your own things. But just to be clear, I'm spending way too much time on this, but just to be clear, like some people will say, well, I garden every Saturday. What am I going to say to that? What? Hire a landscaper. What am I going to say to that? What am I going to say to that? Oh my gosh. If it's cathartic for you, if you love it, do it. Like this business, what I'm standing here teaching you is not so you can do more things that you hate, it's so you can do more things that you love. Truth. For the last 2 years in a row, I did not put up my Christmas tree, decorate my Christmas tree, or take down my Christmas tree or any of my Christmas decorations. I hired someone to do that for me. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? Yeah, my son and I, we just went like this on the last one. We're just plugged in the lights, right? Man, I am trying to get rid of every single minimum wage activity. Every single minimum wage activity. Every single thing that I do that does not make me money, I want to get rid of. Okay? That's my stop doing list. That's my stop doing list, right? And some things you're like, even at Christmas, you're like, you don't even decorate the, no, I don't. No, I do not. No, I do not. It sounds weird, but like that's the level that I'm letting stuff go. I'm letting go of stuff right now. Do you think that helps me in my business? Yes. Yeah. Do you think that gives me time to focus on other stuff? Yes, it does. All right. Create the vision. So commit yourself to your vision. Your vision should encompass all areas of your life, not just your career or financial goals, but also your physical, spiritual, and social. Is that important? To some people it is. To some people it really is. Like they've got to make this all-encompassing. Not to everybody though, but for some people. But what I will say though is, above all else, just be passionate about it. My brother and I are very, very, very different people. My brother, he's married now and has a kid, and he has another one on the way. But before, like 2 years ago, and actually how he met his wife was he met his wife on the Aleutian Islands. And what my brother would do is he would work for 3 to 6 months, and then he would go on vacation until he ran out of money. That sounds, someone said, yeah. Yeah, so and then he would sell everything like right before he went, like, you know, like everything's gone. I remember one time he was going to India, and he woke up late, and my mom told me this story, so my mom outed my brother. Well, so he had not done all of his laundry the night before, so he like put 5 socks in his bag, not 5 pair, but 5 socks. Didn't know those could be reunited, yeah. So it's different than me, right? Different, but passionate about what he did, right? Above all else, you have to just be passionate about what you do. You have to love what you do. Otherwise, you're not going to have any fun with it. Otherwise, it's just going to be a job, right? You have to love what you do. And, you know, for some of you, it may be real estate investing. For some of you, it may be something different. But you've got to use that to create your vision. And you've got to commit to your vision. And you can't let your current circumstances dictate your future. A lot of us kind of feel like, man, well, this happened to me, and that happened to me, and this happened to me, that happened to me. And that's why I am where I am. And that's why I can't go any further. Guys, I grew up in Dripping Springs, Texas, the absolute land of opportunity. And when I grew up out there, there were 688, the population sign said 688 people. Like, if my tires were not fully inflated in my bike, I was not able to, like, visit a neighbor, okay? You know, where I grew up, it didn't, at the time, so Dripping Springs has changed a lot since 1975, right? When 1975, it was Hippieville. But it was not a place of, like, enormous opportunity, right? And there are a lot of people who stayed there and didn't change their lives. I had to leave, I had to exit, I had to get out, I had to do something else. And I couldn't let my circumstance being there dictate where I wanted to go. And we all kind of have to think that way as people. You have to let go just sometimes of the past in order to get to where you want to go and go public with it. Oh man, does anybody see those pictures on Facebook with those with like, here's my body before and here's my body after? Yeah? Or here's my body before and here's what I'm working towards. Does it take a lot of courage to put a picture of your body in a bikini out online? Oh, yes. And then, but does that show commitment? Are you going to get encouragement from doing that? Yes, you might not get a lot of likes on body A, right? But you'll definitely, as people see you improved. In fact, Cameron, who works for Stepstone Real Estate, I think she's lost like 100 pounds. 100 pounds in the last year, right? And she put some before and after pictures out there. And do you think that motivated her? Do you think that was like that commitment, making that commitment public, helped her burn through that? Yes. So a year and a half ago, one of my longtime friends asked me if I was pregnant. Yes. Like men, just guys, don't ever escalate. Just like on the list of things to ask, like just talk about the weather for a really long time, but don't ask somebody. But this was a woman asking me. So I thought, I've got a problem. And it's in my belly. And man, was that a wake-up call for me? Yeah, it was. It really was, man. Yeah, so since then I've been working out every day for 2 hours a day. You know, that that kind of, you know, someone kind of asking like that, like, what are you doing? What's going on over there? That kind of wakes you up, and that kind of wakes you up, and sometimes you need someone to wake you up about, like, what are you doing in your life, right? What are you doing in your life? What are you committed to? What decisions have you made? What is your vision? What is your plan, right? It cannot just be like, I'm going to stop eating for a couple of days. Is that a good vision? Is that a good plan? No. It's got to be a life change, and you got to go public with it. And number 5, you got to break it down into doable units. These are your goals. This is how you break your vision down. This is how you break your idea of where you're going to go down. You can't. How do we eat an elephant again? We've all eaten elephants, right? One bite at a time. Oh man, I was out to lunch with somebody today. They ordered like a beef tongue sandwich. We went to the Noble Pig. Noble Pig. Anybody been to the Noble Pig? It's good. I did not have the beef tongue. You know how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you break down your vision? You break it and make it achievable. You break it down into units. You break it down into goals so that they can be achieved. And then you've got to write. You know, take some further ownership of it. How many of you guys have a mission statement for your business? How many of you guys have a mission statement okay, good. Is it good to kind of have that as your touchstone? To have a written statement that is your touchstone that you go back to? Am I doing what I said I was going to do? Yeah, it's really important, and you got to make it in the present tense. And one thing you did also is it's brief, right? It's not a one-page document. It is short. It is to the point. And you know, it's funny because you talk to people who who deliver speeches, like, you know, when you talk presidents who deliver speeches. When you say, like, you've got 60 minutes to deliver this speech versus you have 5 minutes to deliver this speech, on a per-minute basis of speech delivery, which one do you spend more time prepping for? The 5-minute speech, right? You've got to break it down to its most succinct components, its most valid components in order to make it work. Your written mission statement, use both sides of your brain. What does that mean? So you've got your right brain and left brain. What does that mean? If you're a left brainer, raise your hand. If you're a left brainer, raise your hand. If you're a right brainer, raise your hand. If you are a no brainer, just don't even listen. Nah, forget it. I'm a left brainer. Okay. What are some signs of left brainers? Analytical, right? Run life by the numbers. What are some signs of left brainer? Detail oriented. What are some signs of a left brainer? Make list. Check. Oh, that felt so good. Yeah. Methodical. What are some signs of a right brainer? Creative. What else? Visionary. Big picture. Expressive. What else? That's pretty good. Emotional. Driven by your emotions. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. So when you write this statement, when you develop your plan, when you're thinking about your goals, you gotta, you know, so some people say, well, I'm half and half, right? No one's half and half, right? You're either right or you're left. And if you're not sure about it, come and see me afterward, and I'll tell you in about 2 seconds if you're right or you're left, because I know these things, okay? But you will want to, you know, encourage, like, both sides of your brain to kind of take part in this as you go through this process. Your left side, this is your how. Us left brainers, man, engineers and stuff, man, we know how to get some stuff done, right? But the right brainers, do they know the why? Do they have the vision? They do. They do. This quote I love. The person who knows how always have a job. You will always have a job. But the person who knows why will always be that person's boss. Is that true? It is. It is. Do you see why I encourage you to use both sides of your brain when you're doing this? Yeah, you've got to be creative. You've got to have something, you've got to have some passion about it in order for it to drive you to actually do it and to bring in that creativity that you need in your life and that you need in your business. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So let's talk about integrating the creative and logical sides of your brain. So right side, right brainers, this is where you dream. This is your ideal city. This is your vision maker, your creative side. Looks at opportunities, trust, intuition, right? Emotional. Left brain, this is where you map out your strategy for achieving your dream, right? Your list, your to-do list, right? This is your logical decision-making side. This is what turns the image into reality. Having these lists of all the different things that I'm going to do, do you think that's going to help you get there? If you do them, yeah, absolutely. Focuses on the trees versus the right side focuses on the forest. It's anchored in the here and now. Right brainers are great at starting stuff. Yeah? Right brainers sometimes get taken into shiny penny syndrome, right? Where they're chasing multiple things. Left brainers, hard to get you started to do anything. But once you get started, you're going to finish it. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. That's how these two are different, right? So having the right brain is good for you just to get started and just to take off. Having the left brain is good for things getting done and bringing things to completion. And that's why I say you've got to bring in both of these components as you develop your plan. Okay, so translate your mission into goals. So these are the doable units that you will achieve along the way to fulfilling your mission. And I put this little thing in here, and it just happens to be the exact same quote that was on slide number 4 about success. And I put it in here again, not because it's a typo, because when you think about this, I want you to remember that successful people have learned to establish a pattern of successful action. Succeeding in small things builds confidence and creates an expectation that success that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That means take action on your goals, right? That means break this down in a way so that you can take action on it and get it done. Create short-term, long-term, mid-range, and stretch goals, and make them SMART goals. Everybody know what SMART goals are? SMART? Yeah. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Right? Does that help you? Do you think if every single one of your goals, after you make a commitment to do this, do you think if every single one of your goals was a SMART goal, that you'd have sort of a path, a roadmap to get it done? Yes, please, yeah. So prioritize your goals. Figure out what you need to do immediately to meet your goals. And we talked about this before with the minimum wage activities. We talked about that stop doing list, right? We talked about that stop doing list. Is life busy? For all of us, right? Life is busy for all of us. How many people are thinking to themselves, well, I'm going to do my real estate, I'm going to do my other thing, my other job, right? And then I'm going to do my real estate thing. But I'm not going to give anything up. No. Do you have to make a plan to give some things up? It's just as important as making a plan to get some things done, right? Man, I've given up some stuff. I have given up some stuff. And some of it was hard, but some of it after I gave it up, man, it felt good. I won't be putting up my Christmas tree next year again, guys, in case you're wondering. Somebody else is going to be putting up for me. Someone else is going to be doing it for me. So you got to create that stop doing list as well. And burn the ships. And Linda, you talked about this. Burn the ships. You've got to make a dramatic break from the past. You've got to make a dramatic break from the past to get to where you say that you want to go. God, it's so funny. Like we take, a lot of you guys in here went off to college, right? Was that a dramatic break from the past? But it was just expected, right? When I was in elementary school, I was like, there's no not college, right? it was an expectation. What if you said tonight, Catherine, after you left, like, I'm going to be a real estate investor? And what if it was something that was an expectation that was put on you since you were a little girl? Does that make a difference to your ability to execute it? Having it as an expectation? It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And but there's something about, okay, so quick diatribe about America. I digress. Far. You know, America's the land of opportunity, is it not? Yeah? You know, where's most of the wealth created? Small business owners, right? Small business owners, right? But from a young age, what are we taught? Go to college and get a job for someone else. It's a land of opportunity. Welcome. Built on small business. Go get a job. Go get a job. What? But then that's the expectation, right? That's what you've been taught your entire life. Go get a job. Well, of course. That's what I did. It kind of beats a little bit of the entrepreneurial spirit out of you too as you go and get a job, right? It certainly does. But that's the expectation. And it's hard to make a break from that. It's hard to leave that safety. And a lot of us, you know, came from immigrant parents, right? And so can I pick on you a little bit? You look like maybe you were born, where were you born? Taiwan. Yeah, I'm a master at this born out of the country stuff. So you were born in Taiwan. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm an engineer working for AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, is a semiconductor company.
Because the last company I worked for was called Legerity, and we were a spinoff of AMD. But were your parents entrepreneurs? No, they work for somebody else. Oh, interesting. Okay, what are you teaching? Do you have kids? Still single. Ladies, Taiwanese engineer working for AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, for those of you guys who don't know, and everyone in here knows, by the way. But just in case, so single man, second row, wearing glasses, white sweater. Networking event later, and you can meet him. Okay. So here's what I find. I was hoping you'd tell me a little different story than that, but you know what? I'll make it up as I go. So a lot of times we see immigrants come to the United States. And what do? They go work for somebody else? No, what do? They work for themselves and they start their own business. Is that right? Any immigrants in the room who started like that? No, none. Okay, that's what I've seen, okay? But what do they train their kids to do? Go to college and get a job. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to make my own life for myself because I want to put my kids through school, because I want to get my kids. What happened? What happened there? Something magically incorrect happened there. But it happens all the time. It happens all the time because of that safety. Because is America a great country? Oh man, America is a great country. Even the poorest among us, what do they have? Flat screen TVs. Yeah? Yeah, I'll tell you, when I was working in corporate America, our department, we adopted a family for Christmas. And this was actually right after I got out of college. And right after I got out of college, my TV was this big. I want to say it was 19-inch. Yes. Yeah. So we adopted this family. And everybody in the department, like, you know, got gifts and stuff for this family. And so I was part of the crew to bring the gifts over to drop off at this family's house. And man, we had to bring like 2 cars because we got so much stuff. And we got there, and this lady's TV was this big. Even the poorest among us have flat screen TVs today. Does that make you say like, oh, today I'm going to get out of bed, I'm not going to turn on that big flat screen TV, and I'm going to go and make a change in my life? Or I'm going to watch Judge Judy because like she's an entertaining lady, right? The status quo is too damn good in this country. Is that true? The status quo is too damn good, and it's hard for us to make a break from that to go and do something that we want to do to improve our lives. Is that right? Is it? I think it is. I think it is. And it makes it hard for us to be the nation that we were kind of built on, right? The people getting out there and taking chances, and people, sacrificing. These flat screen TVs are freaking killing us. But you have to make a dramatic break from yourself, because a half-hearted commitment will end in disaster. And you have to be at the point where you say, no, the status quo is absolutely not good enough. How many of you guys have said that? How many of you guys have said, like, I am here tonight because my status quo is not good enough? How many of you guys are going to take action tomorrow because your status quo is not good enough? How good is your status quo? How good is you in the purple? What's your name? James. How good is your status quo? Be honest. It's not good enough. But is it comfortable? It's comfortable. It's so like that bed, cozy, yeah? But you want more. What drives you? What's your passion? What's your why? Stability. Okay? That's not enough, my friend. Is stability enough? Is stability enough passion? Is stability enough why? Is it? No. Freedom? What do you mean? What kind of freedom? Time. Financial freedom. Stress-free abundance. Stress-free abundance. Doing the things that you love to be, yeah. That's not enough of why to get you out of that cozy bed, right? To make you turn off that flat screen TV. Is it? No, it's not. Rethink that, my friend. Rethink that. Your why has got to be stronger for you to get out of bed and for you to do this business. Is that true? Is that true? I think it is. You have to have something driving you, something that's like burning you up inside. We talked about burning the ships, right? Would that drive you and burn and make you take dramatic action? Because being comfortable, that's not going to make me take that much dramatic action. But like, if I don't do this, then I'm down here. But if I don't do this and I'm here, right? Not enough to take dramatic action. So find out what that is. Until you let go of the past, and until you burn the ships, and until you take dramatic action, until you make a commitment to it, and until you have a strong why, everything you do will have a tentative quality to it. And tentative, that's pathway to success, right? No, it's not. It's not. All right, burn the ships, but don't be stupid. So we talked about quitting the job, right? There's only one person in this room that I would even consider telling to quit, but we're still waiting on Bill to get fired. But for most of you guys, I would say do what first? I would say, work the second shift first, right? I would say get rid of the things in your life that are slowing you down. That's what I would do first before I went out and quit my job, right? Because I don't want you guys to have that experience unless you're someone who, like, I have to be this low before I'm driven to get this far up. And some people are like that. Like, some people are driven by fear and lack of anything, and some people are driven by, it's just that fire is in that gut and it just burns. And that's what drives some people. Whether you're driven by fear or lack of opportunity, or whether you're driven by challenge, figure it out. Figure it out, and figure out what that why is, so that you can take dramatic action. The familiar offers safety but little opportunity. Is that true? Did you get that? Okay, so the familiar offers safety but little opportunity. Feels good, not bad. Feels that flat screen TV looks good on the wall, right? I keep harping on that. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, manage your risk. So one of the things our business coach, Nito Kubain, taught us is that we've got to do scenario analysis for everything we do. Okay, we need to look at the best case, we need to look at the worst case, and we need to look at the most likely case. As a real estate investor, what case do we look at? As a real estate investor, what case do we look at? We look at the best. We look at the best case scenario, right? Because that's where like the dreams happen. That's where like the stars happen. That's where all the big money comes in, right? But that's not always reality, right? Even in a market that's going up like crazy, like this market is, right? Sometimes the best case scenario just doesn't really necessarily work out. Why do you need to look at the worst case scenario? Why do you need to look at the most likely case scenario? Listen, a lot of real estate investors will tell me, oh, I want to do this deal, I like this deal, but if I go in and I look at it, sometimes I'll say, well, I think you've underestimated your repair costs, and I think you've overestimated your what the property will sell for, your ARV. And based on my numbers, right, the worst case numbers, if you do this deal, you're probably going to lose about 10 grand. Anybody ever lost 10 grand on a real estate deal besides me? If you haven't lost money on a real estate deal, you haven't done enough real estate yet. It will happen. It is in your future if you're a full-time real estate investor. Stuff goes wrong, right? So, but when I look at that scenario, I might say, well, 10 grand. Is that going to bankrupt me? Am I going to be living in the streets if I lose 10 grand? No. Can I afford to take that risk? Yes. But do I want to know, is there a possibility of this happening? I do. I want to look at best case, worst case, and most likely case. Without fail, when I go back and look at my numbers, what number do you think I'm almost always hitting? My most likely case. Guys, but you have to look at all cases because sometimes things go terribly wrong, do they not? Water heaters like to explode in the middle of the night when you're not home and they're on the second floor. And they like to flood the entire house, do they not? Yes. Does stuff happen? All the time. All the time. You have to be prepared for that, and you have to understand that risk and understand that reward. As a real estate investor, I will take a low risk for a low reward, and I will take a high risk for a high reward, but I will never take a high risk for a low reward. And I see a lot of new real estate investors who will take a high risk for a low reward, who will say, I just want to kind of feel what this would look like, and I just want to get the experience. That experience was not good. I can promise you, if you are investing and starting out and saying, I just want to do this for the experience, that means you're going to lose money and you're going to lose time, and that's going to hurt, right? That's going to be painful, and you really need to understand what you're really expecting and what you're really looking at. The thing about real estate investing, so I've been investing for 11 years. I learn something new every single day as a real estate investor. So what you learn on one project may or may not convert to what you learn on that second project. So don't think that you want to take a high risk for a low reward and think afterward you're going to know everything about real estate investing, because I promise you, you are not. Okay, I had a deal that was held up right before Christmas, and this was something new that I learned as we ordered our survey. It was a deal we did in Fort Worth, and it was cloudy that day. What doesn't work when it's cloudy? Solar. What else does not work when it's cloudy, according to the surveyor? GPS. So you remember when you were in school and like they said, well, we're going to write out this math problem and we're going to do it by hand. And then after I drive you crazy for a day showing you how to do it by hand, I'm going to show you how to push 5 buttons on your calculator and you can do it by calculator. But you still learned how to do it by hand? Yeah? So this guy, my surveyor? Yeah. So my closing got delayed. So yeah, you've got to understand and analyze your risk, and you got to know that real estate is something that's constantly changing, and you will always learn something new in real estate. Take time to plan and prepare. So I got to see a speech by Rudy Giuliani a few years ago, and he said for every 1 hour that he spends in the courtroom, he spends 5 hours in his office preparing, because he wants to be prepared for every single thing that happens. And sometimes when you go into a courtroom, you expect that it's going to go like this. Sometimes it starts like this and then goes over here. So if you spend more time preparing for those contingencies, you think you're going to be more successful when you're out there and you're actually faced with it? The answer is yes. So a good plan as you take time to go through this will, oh man, this is so good for people who are doing this business together as a family. So a good plan will specify actions, will set a timetable, and be a little bit flexible, right? For the GPS, for the cloudy GPS thing, right? So you've got to kind of focus and go through that. Let's see, I'm going to skip this one real quick. Okay, not skipping it. Photo op. Number 13, and I'm going to talk about working this business as a family as we go through this, because how many of you guys in here are thinking, I'm going to add a spouse, a child, a friend, or a business partner to your business, to your real estate investing business? Okay, I think I count like 6 people. Wow. Okay, all right, we're going to get to that. So identify and understand your obstacles. Don't overlook your obstacles in your planning phase and goal setting phase. Understanding them early on will allow you to create contingency plans. But sometimes, you can spend all day identifying obstacles and identifying roadblocks, but sometimes just get out there and do it and ask for forgiveness later. I do a lot of asking for forgiveness. Sometimes that helps and sometimes it doesn't. But especially during the permitting process with City of Austin, I sometimes try to ask for a lot more forgiveness after the fact. Although I heard through Bill that the city's implementing a program where the neighbors get to turn in their other neighbors for unpermitted work. Did I hear that from you, Bill? No? I recently heard that. So anyway, so sometimes you might want to go ahead and start something and ask for forgiveness later. Now, have I done work unpermitted and gotten red tagged and been forced to stop? Yes. Was I willing to take that risk? Yes, I was. Was it a calculated risk? Was it a low risk with a medium reward? Yeah, it was, because I didn't want to wait 2 months for the city. Okay, so develop strategies to meet your goal. You've got to have tactical strategies. You've got to have your to-dos. You've got to have your checklist. But you also have to have your not to-dos, right? You got to have that stop doing list as part of some of your to-dos. So your strategies, and this is where it's really good for people who are doing this business with partners or with family members. And I got to tell you, there are so many real estate investors who come into this business and say, I'm a lone ranger. I'm doing this by myself, and yeah, that's how it is. What that translates into is today you get to be the chief marketing officer. Tomorrow you get to be the chief sales officer. Wednesday you get to do a trash haul out of your remodel project. Thursday you get to sit at the the first Tuesday of the month you get to sit at the auction all day. And on Friday you get to do the dishes and take the trash out. Congratulations. How effective do you think you're going to be in your business if you're doing, this is a business, guys. How effective do you think you're going to be if you're doing every single thing? So when we first started in real estate investing, Phil and I would manage our own properties. Phil managed our rental property portfolio. Is Phil Grove in the room? Good. He sucked at it. That's the truth. He sucked at it because he was doing so many other things. So once he sucked enough at it, he basically brought it to me and said, Shenoah, here's this bag of crap. You go figure it out. And guess who else sucked at it? I sucked at it. Yeah, I sucked at it. And it was getting in the way of me doing other things that were making me money. Okay, so I was trying to save money by doing it myself. Do you think I saved some money? I saved some money, but I wasted more time and I wasted more money than if I would have outsourced it immediately. Man, and when we outsourced that and I didn't have to take toilet calls and all that other fun stuff, it's funny, someone asked me about my property manager, and I said, they called me because my property manager was using me as a referral. And I said, I'll just say one thing about my property manager. My property manager gave me my life back. So we have 18 single-family rental properties, okay? My property manager gave me my life back, and allowed me to focus on things that were making me money instead of things that were saving me money, okay? And you get to outsource to professionals too, right? You don't want to be, Phil, how many pages is the Texas Property Code? Do you know? I think it's over like 100 pages long. And then there's stuff like normal wear and tear. And then they try and go into a lot of detail to describe what normal wear and tear is, right? So when you're giving somebody back their deposit, and Phil, don't answer this question. And how many days do you have before you have to give the accounting and the deposit back to a tenant who leaves? Does everybody know that? Everybody knows what that is, right? Everybody knows about normal wear and tear, right? Everyone's read the 100 and some odd pages of property code, right? Everyone knows how to go to the JP and go to the courts and evict somebody, right? Everybody wants to have that as part of their curriculum vitae or whatever you call a resume when you're not calling it a resume, right? Yeah? Yes? No! No! No, it's awful. It's terrible. So I had the bag of crap for a while, the property management bag, and then I outsourced it to somebody who did it better than me. And do I pay for that? Happily. Happily. It gave me my life back so I can focus on what? My marketing, my other businesses that are making me money instead of focusing on things that are saving me money. Right? That's what we're talking about with the bookkeeping, right? Focus on things that make you money and not on things that save you money. Do you think that's a recipe for more success? I think so. I think so. How did I get off on that tangent? I do not know. This is how. Yep. All right. So this is so. No, it wasn't things not to do. It was many of you guys said I'm not working with a partner. I'm kind of solo. I'm on my own in this business. Guys, you will make so much more money if you partner up with somebody else. Even just one other person to take on half of this stuff, so that you're not taking out the trash and doing a trash out, and doing the property management, and doing the remodel, and doing the marketing. Because I promise you, what you will let slip if you try to do it all, what's the first thing you let slip? Your marketing. What's the most important part of your business? Your marketing. Yeah. You guys see how these things kind of go together? All right, so for those of you guys who are working with a team, which you should be, when you talk about your different strategies, and this is just even breaking out your team basics, they need to specify the actions that need to be taken. They need to specify the persons who are going to be taking those actions. They establish a timeline for those actions, a deadline, and a criteria for determining whether or not the actions have been completed satisfactorily. Okay. We've got some people we know in Dallas that it's like an 8-headed dragon, and they have partnered up, right? They're kind of a family business, but no one's really heading this 8-headed dragon, and as a result, not much is getting done because they haven't broken it down like this. And there's no one in there who's strong enough to actually be able to break it down. Someone has to take charge, yes, to set these things. And it's probably usually going to be, it could be the right brainer, it could be the left brainer. All right, so maintain perspective and faith. There will be failure, but if failure is accompanied by perseverance, there will ultimately be success, period. Failure accompanied by perseverance will ultimately lead to success. Now, do you need to, as we said in the first slide, do you need to learn from your failures? Do you need to fail forward? Do you need to fail quickly? Yes, absolutely. Oh, and man, Yoda. So I'm reading the Star Wars book to my son. And he's at the stage now where everything is well, what is this? And what? So I'm in the middle of a sentence, that had just been interrupted. And he's interrupting me again. Well, who's the bad guy in this? Because Star Wars gets kind of confusing, like who's the bad guy? Who's good? And I'll say something that says, well, Luke, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, who's Luke? And I said, Luke Skywalker, where have you been? We're on page 300. And he's like, well, you didn't say his last name. I got to read some Yoda quotes as part of going through this book with my son. And one of the quotes that you guys need to adopt from Yoda is, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. Try not. What was the first thing that I told you that my fitness instructor said to me? I must. I must. There is no try. There is must. That is an intention. That is an intention. And what intentions do you have for the new year? So don't give up. Don't get distracted. You will definitely need perseverance and faith. You know, it's funny because some of the people in this business that we've coached and worked with, I remember one partnership that we coached, and like the first week out of the chute, they started marketing. They got a deal. It was a great deal. Like they made $60,000 on that deal. And then 2 weeks later, they got another deal. It was a great deal. And they made another $60,000 on that deal. So what did I have to tell him? Time out. You know, real estate's a numbers game. You know, you hit it like right out of the chute. But a lot of times, people might not hit it and may not be able to make a deal work for several weeks or several months. Or if they don't have any sales skills, well, maybe not ever, right? So it also kind of depends on your personality, but numbers. Real estate is a numbers game, but don't give up. If you think that you are lacking in some arena, like if you think I can't talk to a motivated seller, you need to find somebody else who can, right? If you think I can't do the marketing, but I can go and talk to a motivated seller all day long, you need to find a left brainer to go and do the marketing for you, and you can go and do your right brain world and go and talk to sellers and have these meetings and kind of be out with people, which might be your preference. But you've got to get this done one way or another. Number 16, create and execute the action. Break your goals down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals, and get really specific. One of the things that we do with a lot of our students is that, you know, what are you going to be doing the first week? Who are you going to be talking to? Who are you going to be adding to your power team? What kind of marketing are you going to do? What kind of stuff are you going to do on your website? What kind of training are you going to go through, right? We go through this so that every week they've got something to do. In fact, we give them homework, right? And extra credit. But you've got to be able to break these things down into what are you doing every week, because if you start with just a blank slate, you're not going to get to where you want to go. Set your priorities. When Phil talks about this, he's like, you know, so there's important, and then there's critical. And then Phil would add urgent, right? So he would tell me, like, you know, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. So if the house is burning down, this is kind of our joke. If the house is burning down, he'll ask me, well, how long before it gets to my office, right? How long before it gets to my office? But is it easy in our daily lives to get distracted and just be constantly putting out fires? Yes, it is. It so is. You guys want to know how to stop having to put out fires that are other people's fires? Turn off your phone. Turn off your phone. Somebody just laughs like, my phone has an off button? Yeah, the stewardess didn't show it to you? Those are usually the only people who know how to turn a phone. But now you don't have to, when you fly, you don't have to turn your phone off anymore. You do need to stop putting out fires so that you can focus on your goals. It is too easy. And I mean, I talk to so many people who have trouble setting boundaries. who have trouble saying no, who are always there for everybody else and not working or focusing on their own goals, their own life. One way to stop doing that is just stop, turn off your phone for like 3 hours a day. Just try it one day. Try it 1 hour at a time, right? You won't implode, okay? You won't, I promise. But you know, I used to answer my email from 6 a.m. to midnight. I was the most responsive person out there. I don't do that anymore. I don't even come close. And when I stopped doing that, at first people were really mad at me. People were angry with me. Like, I used to go to Shenoah, and Shenoah would tell me, where the bathroom is. Well, yeah, sure, let me stop what I'm doing. It's down the hall and to the right. Well, hey, let me walk you there. Yeah? Does anybody have that problem in their lives? Being too nice? Not being able to say no, always working on somebody else's problems? So try not answering your email for a day. And then call that person back the next day. Oh, did you ready? Yeah, I figured it out. And it's not even the bathroom. That's an exaggeration. But it's other stuff, right? If you were not able to get back to someone right away, you didn't get back to them until the next day, what do they usually tell you? I figured it out. Once they get used to you acting that way, you're going to put some more hours back in your life? Yes, like crazy. So set those priorities to achieve those goals. Do situational triage, which is what I personally do with my email. And decide if you want to take a proactive or reactive approach. Number 17, this is probably my favorite one. I think Phil talked a lot about it. It's just take action. And it's not just take action, it's take dramatic action, folks. It's really get out there and really start taking some actions towards your goals. People who procrastinate or really just don't get started, you just don't have a plan, right? I'm going to try this. I'm going to think about this. Yeah, you don't have a plan. You're not going to be able to move off that point unless you put that plan in place. Man, we plan. I feel like, and so I'm a left brainer. Phil, my husband's left. I'm not an engineer, but Phil's a left brainer. He's an engineer, and I always thought I'm left of him. But once we start to like get in the planning stages, like he just wants to constantly be planning and executing and trying new stuff. And it's a push. It's a constant push, and you've always got to be adapting and changing. But you do have to be aware as you take action, you don't want to do everything in yourself. It is easy to feel like this is a Lone Ranger business for me. If this is just a Lone Ranger business for you, you're not going to go as far as if you partner with someone else. That's when you start doing more deal flow. That's when you can start fanning out and doing a lot more for sure. Okay. This is one of my favorite slides. It has one of my favorite sayings at the bottom of it. But after you take action, you will need to test and adjust your action plan, right? It may not work the first time, right? You may have to tweak it a little bit. You may have to, change something that you're doing in your marketing so that you get a higher response rate. And once you act, learn, you're testing, right, and adjusting after you test. Once you find that set of right actions, once you find that set of right marketing, you bring the boom. What does that mean, bring the boom? You spent $500 to do your marketing. You got 5 solid leads. It costed $100 a lead. Now that you've figured it out, you want to spend as much money as possible on generating those leads, especially if you're able to turn those leads into deals and dollars. Once you find the marketing that works, that's when you need to do it like crazy. Bring the boom. So number 19, achieve your goals and relish in your achievements. Stop and smell the roses. It's funny, as a real estate investor, and you have been investing for how long? Yeah. 23 years. One thing that is really hard so me as a real estate investor, when I look at my fix and flip account and my fix and flip company, it's kind of like billionaire, bankrupt, billionaire, bankrupt, right? Because real estate's one of the most capital intensive businesses there are out there, right? And as soon as you get one deal, you want another deal, and then you've got all of your money out in deals, right? And even if you look at that and you're like, oh, I know I'm going to make $80,000 off that deal. Worst case scenario, I'm going to make 70. but then you've already got that money invested in another deal. Is it kind of hard to take a little break and celebrate? The other thing that I do is when we take a break and when we take a vacation, and I'm crazy like this. I have to, wherever we're going, I have got to figure out a way to write this off. But Shenoah, it's Christmas. I don't care. We need to have a meeting with somebody somewhere at some point, and we got to hit the IRS guidelines. Go. So I'm not going to go anymore about that. So I'm not cheap. I'm value driven. But the truth is, I'm really cheap. So. But so you got to take a break, and after you take the break, though, what do you need to do? This is time to get back to work. This is time to set the next goal. This is time to go through the recommitment phase. And I know, like with Phil, he is absolutely dedicated to this. You know, once he finds something that works, not only does he want to bring the boom, he wants to like bring the boom like everywhere else. And he is very focused on setting that next goal and achieving that next goal. Because what I can promise you about this business and about anything you do in life, man, those competitors, those other investors, you all are always at your heels, right? And guess what? Your customers, right, these motivated sellers, they always want more, right? So you've always got to continue to improve and set that next goal. And finally, embrace change. It's part of life, and you must see change as opportunity. And focus on re-education. Never stop learning. I do a market update every single month for 4 different real estate markets. I do one for Austin, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. And do you think I do it just for you guys? Yeah, I'm a generous lady, right? Think I do it just for you guys? No, well, who do I do it for? I want to know when the market's changing, right? I want to know when the market's changing. And I don't want to be surprised when the market does change. When I see my months of inventory go from 2.4 to 3.4 to 4.4 to 5.4, I know what's coming. And I want to be able to adjust. Because is the market always changing? Yes. Sometimes you don't feel it until 6 months after. Right, but the market is always changing, and you have to adopt. You have to be a student of the market. That's one of the things that Phil and I have adopted in our real estate investing life. We've been in up markets, we've been in down markets, we've been in flat markets, and you have to continue to re-educate yourself. Look for new strategies. Look for new ways to be successful in this business.